We're live for the first time, maybe, right? First time testing this out. So hope you guys
Yes.
enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed this format a little better. Maybe a little bit more candid that you can see our faces, but we're also going to be still putting everything live on all the streaming platforms. Lots to talk about this week, that's for sure, boys. And I know Joe was going on a rant yesterday about Roma, but we'll save that because I think the first talking point has to be um, uh, Milan
What does it
versus
have to be?
Milan
I wanted to
Vic.
get I wanted to get you guys on camera for this. So like if we're gonna do it next week or the week after, might as well do it now.
So Milan victorious 1-0 over Inter, bring the gap down to about 7 points, if I'm not mistaken. Let's start with Remo. Let's hear your thoughts first. Only because, unfortunately, I said it last week, but I was at a baptism and I was in church during the game. So I'll make Remo start with his comments, and then I'll talk over that.
All right. So I hadn't I had a lot of hype to this game. I ended up watching it with my dad, my brother-in-law. My dad was an Interista, my brother-in-law was a Milanista, and my nephew who's 6 and wants to be a Milanista but can't sit still for a game. Um, I'm gonna go with my unbiased opinion first, and then I'll be the fan. My unbiased opinion is that this was a terrible game. Um, from the get go, I think Inter probably wasn't really prepared for this game. They messed up the formation. Something wasn't clicking for them. They didn't have any spark, any drive. Mkhitaryan had one chance, ended up shooting straight on Magnan.
Great
Milan, on
run
the
though.
other hand, sorry,
A beautiful solo run and then
beautiful
just
run, but like he made Magnan look better than he did because it was right on him. Um, Milan, on the other hand, I'll give credit where credit's due. They started the game really well. It seemed like they were trying, they were attacking, they were a bit more positive. Um, the goal comes from probably Fofana's best play all season, probably Fofana's best game all season. He was a real spark in that midfield this game. But again, there wasn't much to talk about this game apart from that one chance for Mkhitaryan, the um, the Milan goal, which
It was a
I
nice
mean,
goal.
it was
Like
a
it was
very
a
nice goal. It
beautiful
was
team
a
goal.
exactly beautiful run, beautiful pass, beautiful.
Estupinian
Yeah,
that you
I'm
shot
very
out last week.
surprised. Listen, they listen to us, but let's not let this one game and this one goal cloud our judgment of an entire season's worth of a player. Um, but I mean, he played well. The whole team played well, but nothing extra. Well, the whole team. Leao did not play well. I've been saying it from the get go. He's been abysmal, and it continued this week. He looked slow. He slowed down every play. He didn't try to do anything. Yeah, it would just be passing back, and maybe that's an Allegri thing. But he also just looked like at one point he stopped the ball and he just couldn't make that second step to catch up to it, which is what Leao's known for, right? That quick step, that explosiveness. Didn't have it. But I mean, I can't complain with a win. There's two, we always say like that saying, there's two animals in us. There's two animals in me. There's the one where I'm really happy about the result, the 1-0, the 1-0, the Cortomuso. But then there's the other animal in me where it's this team could do better. They could play better. They could press a bit better. And like I would love to see my team play a more attractive style of football. Again, it's not
Under Allegri,
Allegri. Like,
yeah.
yeah, he's there to win. He's winning from ninth to second place in a year. It's already exceptionally well. Now, my fan side, and you can see it from my background. I think like it was a we're unstoppable in the derby now since Pioli left.
Mhm.
And it's a trade off we got, right? Pioli was there. We won the Scudetto. We made it to the semifinal of Champions League, but we lost every derby, even the one in Champions League. Now Pioli leaves. We're not winning, but at derbies we're unstoppable. I think we're in Inter's head. I think we've been in Inter's head for a while because this Milan side is technically weaker than this Inter side, even without Lataro, without Turam. the team that they put on the field should play better than what they played. They looked very uninspired. They didn't have any spark. It just Barella, he's a shell of himself. Di Marco was
Season.
completely blocked out by Salamakers. I was watching the game. Every single cross that Di Marco tried to put in, blocked. And it was a solid display by Milan, weak display by Inter, I think. And I think we could give credit to Milan for the 1-0 win, but Inter deserves a lot of responsibility for the lackluster performance.
Yeah, because they were the better team going in. Again, this addresses, we talked a little bit about Kivu first season, big games, another big game loss. He won one big game, and that was a controversial one, if you think about it, versus Juve. So again, you talked about the fan and the two sides of you. I think I would take the win no matter what. Here, it was just you look at the stats, we played better, but it seemed, and again, I watched the game in bits and pieces, not the whole game because I wasn't there, but it just felt like, and it seemed like one of a performance that we've had all year versus the big teams. We have the possession, you have the chances, they weren't great chances, and we couldn't capitalize on maybe the one or two chances that we did have to score. But overall, I think this. Now the question is, more so than this game, does this open up the gap or give Milan that spark that we spoke about last week that was missing from them? Again, they didn't play like they had the spark, but does this give them a little bit of hope to maybe go take on the title or even try to make a push? 7 points is 7 points. Look at Roma, look at Juve. Last week we were talking about 7-point difference. Now we have a 1 point difference.
It's 7 points is a lot, guys. I don't know. I'm not expecting them to go forward, like to make a run. It all depends on Inter, on Kivu, if he can manage his team's mentality. Because if we get the Inter that played this game, that played against Bodo in the next couple of weeks, then they're in danger. But it all depends how they bounce back from this game, right? It's in their hands. It's not in Milan's hands.
Well, they played a really boring game versus Como midweek. I don't know how that affected them. Like, they rotated heavy, and that was one of the worst games of soccer I've watched in a long time. Horrible from both ends. So I don't know if that, like, they played that game without any energy and a fully rotated team, thinking, okay, we're going to go hard in the derby, and then they end up not even showing up in the derby. So that's what I find weird. I know we spoke a little bit. So, Joel, what are your thoughts on it?
An unbiased look.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I feel like, is the game going to give Milan a chance to open it back up? I think that, and Remo's right in saying that Milan probably didn't play great. I think if they had come out and put on a more dominant performance, maybe, even just mentally, Allegri can pump his team's tires and get them going for a title run. I would think that there was more of a chance. The way the game sort of played out with both teams kind of a little hesitant, and nobody really looked like they wanted to make the first mistake. Nobody looked like they really wanted to push forward. I'm not sure if psychologically Milan, really takes it in stride and uses it as a stepping stone for the rest of the season. But if nothing else, at least it gives us a little bit more intrigue from here to the end of the year. We've got a tight race for the last Champions League spots. We've got a tight battle at the bottom of the table for relegation. It's not tight at the top, but at least it's mathematically still possible heading into mid-March. So that's a positive.
Look, Inter's next 4 games: Atalanta, Fiorentina, whatever, at this point, but you never know. Roma and Como.
That's tough.
Well,
Como's Coppa Italia?
No. So we play
exactly.
I think they might move that game because it still says to be determined. But anyways, so yeah, Roma, Como, and then they play Como in the Coppa Italia after as well. Just to say,
that's a tough schedule. Listen, anything's possible, right? The year that we won the scudetto, that 2-1 derby win kind of propelled us into a crazy run of form at the end of the season, and Inter kind of slid back after that game. I know our listeners are probably chomping at the bit to hear our takes on that penalty shot at the end, and I have my opinions.
Let's hear it, boys.
Okay, go.
You start. No, you start. I started you start.
It's not a penalty, okay? By the letter, it's not a penalty. It's not. Anybody who's shouting for a penalty, not to say like, okay, was it a handball? Absolutely. But it was by the rules of the game, that is not a penalty, right? They went and review it. It's not a penalty. Can you see, has that been called before? Yes, but if you're looking at the rules of the game, that's not a penalty. Technically, his arm was by his side. The ball wasn't going anywhere close to the net. And I've talked about this a few weeks ago, how they used to call this like a few years ago, and that used to get me nervous. So again, being unbiased, I hate that the first thing to do after a loss that your team didn't show up is complain. You didn't show up. If we showed up, we killed you guys, we smashed you guys, we didn't get our calls, then it's a different story. But when you don't show up, you don't deserve to get those calls your way either way. That's the way I see it.
I agree. I think if you see the replay, I mean, his arm it's a little bit of a chicken wing, but the ball's going here, and this is the benefit of having us on video. You can see my demonstrations.
Right here.
The ball's hitting, it's going to hit his side. So yeah, his arm's like this, but it hits where it would hit his side. It's close range. Yeah, he'd have to chop off his arm. Isn't the whole point is that like your arm has to be away from your body? And yeah, he has the chicken wing, but that's not where it hits him. It hits him on his forearm, which is attached to his body. If it's been given, I think that's more of a statement on the inconsistency and the harshness of the referees in Serie A. But I think by the letter of the law and by pure common sense, it shouldn't be a penalty. And I'm going to bring this around back to, and maybe we could use this as a jumping off point for Joe's rant. But referees this weekend, we saw a huge shift in the way they manage the games. I don't know how many games you saw this weekend. I saw quite a few. I missed a couple. But the common theme throughout was that they were letting them play. They were calling a lot less, and they were looking for dives. And sometimes they
were
messed up on those. They were looking.
Chasing ghosts. Yeah.
They were chasing Como. But it was a very strange shift, and it happened very suddenly in the league. And there's a lot of controversy this weekend. There was a couple calls that
it wasn't suddenly. It's the outrage that happened a few weeks ago.
And we don't know if within the league structure, and I know that it's like this in other sports, like we'll follow football or we'll follow hockey, and sometimes you hear in the news, hey, the league reached out to the teams and explained that they were going to be cracking down on XYZ. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point over the past couple of weeks, there was internal communications by the AIA towards the team saying, hey, listen, this is not a good look. We're cracking down. You guys get on board. But yeah, there was definitely...
you think they're that good at communication in Italy?
Don't push buttons, Ren, because me over here I can explode. You're putting gas.
I mean, I'm just gonna name a couple of situations this weekend that were a bit egregious, and then we'll go to the Roma game, which was probably the most egregious. I mean, there's that Milan game. Okay, we agree it shouldn't be a penalty, but it's been called in the past when they've been sticklers or they've gone a bit overboard with
it. Was VAR. Called on Inter. That's a lot of the outrage I hear from Inter. Inter lost the scudetto on that same penalty, right, against Lazio.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree with it.
Now you're across years. You're across years.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Fine, but still.
And rule changes several times on handballs because it's never clear. But then you had the Cagliari Como game, and you've heard me go off on this because I had both Esposito and Palestra in Fanta Calcio. They both get yellows for dives, which are like the most obvious non-dives ever. Like there's clear contact. Is one a penalty? No. The Palestra, he got the ball, then he got the player, but it's not a dive. The other one was outside the box, so they couldn't review a VAR, but that was like a crack. Like his leg went right across him. And then you have the Cremonese game. I don't know how many of you guys saw that foul on Sanabria at the last second.
Yeah.
Lecce Cremonese. That's a penalty.
100%. Stonewall penalty.
No, like, there's no intention to play the ball there. He's just going to push Sanabria. And then we come to the most obvious of them all, the Roma game. And here, a nice little light lob to Joe, and you can volley it in.
I don't even want to, I don't even, what you say? Like, it doesn't. And
He's lost
already I
points.
sent a wall. I'm like glitching. The stream is fine, guys. I just don't know.
At least it was De Rossi.
And you see, so over the past year or two, there's been like a lot of hand wringing by Roma fans at ex-players who score against Roma and celebrate. Zaniolo looked like he won the World Cup when he scored against Roma. And this is a player that Roma protected, that they waited for through injuries, no respect for the team. De Rossi, as a manager, scores the winning goal, 80th minute, no reaction.
Stone face.
Aside from that, the penalty, the handball bothers me. I don't. The guy's hand is 90 degrees with his body, with the floor. Like there's no.
They judged it outside of the box, and it was inside the box. It was on the line. It was in the box.
Never mind, outside, inside. They didn't even give a free kick. What are you judging? Even if it's outside of the box, which it wasn't, it's a free kick, right? We have guys that could be dangerous from those positions. Malin is I wouldn't say a free kick specialist, but he can be useful. Pellegrini is not too bad, but it's very clearly in the box. He charges at the ball, jumps blindly, makes his body bigger. I mean, again, good thing for video. Stone cold penalty at 1-1. And then the throw-in. And I know we're talking about throw-ins. But what is VAR for? And I know I'm not saying that VAR should have intervened. I know that they can't intervene. But what's the point of having VAR if we can't fix mistakes? This isn't a throw-in at midfield that, Vitinha would have thrown it in to I don't know who, and he would have turned around and passed it back, and it would have made its way back to the goalie and back around. He takes the throw-in, and within 10 seconds, the ball's in the back of the net. It's 2-1. We're in the 80th minute. What is the point of VAR? One of you, give me a sentence, 8 words or less. What's the point of VAR?
I could argue the VAR point. It's the thing is if you start using VAR for every little thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then there's no end. There's no end. Everything's an error. There's errors. Sports, there's errors, right? But the beauty of VAR, and right now, is it's only used for certain things. Can they use it for more things? Should they? I don't even know, to be honest, because it's again, I like the way they implemented it, and that's it. Like these are the laws. Maybe they can change one or two things like about the VAR, but other than that, then it's going to be every 2 seconds. Going to be even worse. We're going to be complaining even more about VAR. It's going to go to VAR every 2 seconds for every little play, every little step in foot that went off the line or ball. It's going to be too crazy.
If there's a goal, right, this is soccer. We're not talking about basketball.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's
if there's a goal,
right?
There's going to be 2, 3, 1, 2, max 4 of them in a game. Just check it. Just check that
foul,
in the immediate
right?
lead
It's
up.
a foul in the run up to the goal.
Just check that in the immediate lead up. There's no blatant guys. It took 3 seconds flat, and on TV, everybody knew that's the wrong throw-in.
Yeah,
and then we're saying no, hey, we can't have VAR interfere with everything. The games, it's too long. It breaks the momentum. What was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? We all sat there like idiots for 15 minutes while they were analyzing and scrutinizing a blade of grass more, a blade of grass less. This 3 seconds, you take out a goal. 3 seconons. I'm not saying.
Can I put on a tinfoil hat and say that maybe Como is calling some referees up because this week was very pro Como. It was very pro Como this week. I mean, that result for Roma drops them down and puts Como in fourth.
It doesn't make. And then the worst part is today, the AIA, the Associazione Italiana dei Arbitri, comes out and releases a statement. Yeah, that was a penalty.
Thank you.
What do you mean? Yeah, thanks for nothing. And we have in the comments, so this is new here. We have King Midas in the comments saying fire the refs and just replace them with VAR. And that's what you're talking about, Mike. We don't want it to just be VAR. You want referees to be there. And I think Midas is exaggerating for effect there, but there needs to be a limit. But this is a goal. In the NHL, all goals are reviewed. There's that 20, 30 seconds. Okay, we're good. In the NFL, all scoring plays are reviewed. 20, 30 seconds. We have this technology.
Yeah.
The stadiums, the teams, the leagues invested in it. it's not just because it's a Roma game and I'm a Roma fan. The reality of the matter is that qualifying or not qualifying for Champions League, whether it's Roma or Como or Juve, guys, there's 70, 80, maybe $90 million in play.
But hear me out.
You
Hear me
can't
out
miss
for
out
this,
on
okay?
Champions League by a botched throw-in call.
I agree with you, and plenty of teams have missed out on Champions League with bad calls,
less.
but for worse. But the most important thing is, and like I told you when you try to change some things in the middle of the season or Fanta Calcio, you want to do something else, you have to either present it at the beginning. You have to either present it at the beginning, like this is the law for this year, and you can't change it midway through the year either,
Sure.
right? So look at now the World Cup; they're going to test a few things, right?
Second yellows.
There you go, second yellow, something that we spoke about 2 weeks ago.
because
Exactly.
of Bastoni.
So again, will these moments hopefully teach, and hopefully they learn from these moments and apply it properly, but there has to be a lot of implementation. And I like that they always try things first, like either with big tournaments or the under 20s or the under 18s, they'll go and try VAR stuff there, right? So again, not to say that you're wrong, because you're absolutely right, but they can't just change the law because Roma it went against Roma's way, right? Like that's my point.
No, of course, and like I said, the VAR, for the way it's composed now, was used effectively. But moving forward, it doesn't make sense, right?
Especially things like that. It's pretty simple, right? It's straightforward. It's not that the ref has to go to the screen and look. It's
the guy's in his ear.
No, it's the other guy touched it last. Okay,
Yeah,
problem.
no, that's
done. Change the call. That's it.
No problem.
That's it.
It doesn't. Anyways, I could go. Last week I had to edit myself out 10 minutes of Roma around. So you guys heard a nice long one, and that was after I passed the cleaver through it.
I have a serious question though. Like, did Roma play well?
I don't think they played poorly enough to lose.
Interesting. Okay.
I think they played. I think a tie would have been a fair result. If they would have snuck it, fine. I don't think anybody would have shouted to the heavens. Did they play well enough to win or not? They're fine margins. But a 2-1 loss in a game where they did create more, and props to Genoa. We've been saying for weeks that they were playing well. Remo called it on Calcio Scommesse that he called both teams to score. Genoa
I was tempted to put Genoa to win, in all honesty.
Genoa was
now
not
hindsight is 2020, but yeah.
Genoa was not a pushover, but Roma had a good amount of shots. They had a lion's share of the ball. Did they play well? Not as well as they have, but a 2-1 loss, especially in that manner, is probably undeserved, I would think.
Does last week's result play into this? Like maybe the way the way they conceded, and
it seems like they're pretty weak mentally, right? I mean,
yeah.
But that's always been a knock on Roma,
yeah. But
there's that March, there's that spring meltdown. Look, I think this is crunch time for Gasperini. I think, it's the first year of a new project. I doubt that Roma's going to do anything hasty, but I think he needs to show that he can have an impact on his team even when the results aren't going their way. It's easy when you're playing Calcio Champagne and you're scoring goals and it's 2-0 every game, no problem. When stuff starts to go wrong, that's when I think a manager at this level of club needs to earn his pay. So let's see if you can galvanize the team, around the results. Mourinho is a superstar at this, right? That us against the world mentality and, getting teams that are very mentally strong. Let's see. It's not over, but just frustrating to lose out on at least a point, to have stayed in that Champions League spot with two. No, not one, guys. Two. Let it finish 1-1. Don't give the penalty. Or give the penalty and make it finish 2-2. Not 2 in one game. And I got to think that the VAR room would have told him, oh, that was a penalty over there, Fratelli.
Yeah.
Like, you got to make up for this somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I find it insane, but they could call him back. How do you not see it? Like it's in clear in the box. Anyways, it's one of those mistakes that you look at it and knowing the history of Serie A and everything, like
How did they not
what's going
even
on
go
over here.
look? You didn't even see in the corner
But that's
VAR
it.
check in progress. They didn't even.
No, nothing.
But how?
It's insane.
But how? What did the guy went to make himself a coffee? How? How do you not even look? How do you not even tell the
No,
ref?
it's
Listen,
insane.
you might want to take a look at this. It's incredible. Anyways, let's move on because I don't want to. I'm gonna start screaming weird the first time on camera. I'm gonna leave a bad impression.
We can move on to Napoli, get a convincing 2-1 win versus Torino. What are your thoughts on Napoli's victory?
I mean, it's they were comfortable for most of the game, and then at the end they almost crumbled too.
Almost.
Torino did a nice little almost. Torino did a nice little run at the end, but I mean it's a win that they have to get, right. Napoli's, despite all the injuries, despite everything, there's Torino's in the bottom. They're struggling over there. There's a chance that they might get relegated. That team looks, on average, that team doesn't look good considering the players that they have. So I mean, it's good that Napoli got the result. Elmas got his first goal of the season. First goal
On
in
my bench.
Alison Santos keeps up his momentum. Beautiful goal. Took everyone by surprise. And then you have the return of De Bruyne and Lukaku again at the end. But De Bruyne coming in is a huge boost for them. I said it before. I think he has a place on this team, especially in Serie A, especially with McTominay out. I think that's going to be a big boost for them at the end. I think they were lacking a bit of creativity. Vergara's good, Alison Santos is good, but they don't have that intelligence that De Bruyne brings.
He looked good though, Alison Santos. He brought a new spark. He looked really good in this game. I was able to watch the first half, and he looked really good.
It's a nice scout. Scout by Giovanni Mana, their DS. Oh my God. So he was sitting on the bench at Sporting Lisbon. This guy.
That's why he was playing at. Listen, sometimes what is it? What's the saying? One player's garbage is another man's treasure. You know what I mean? Like, and we see and when you have a good coach or good coaches, you're able to get the best out of players. But he looked like he was free, and something maybe those are the type of players. Again, we spoke a lot about that. We'd love to see in the Serie A. Like he looked like he was free. Looked like he was loving to play football. So I think that's what we want to see more.
Yeah, he's making more of an impact than Giovanni.
Yeah,
who
absolutely
doesn't seem like he's gelling well with Conte.
Well, Napoli's in a weird position right now, so they have a pretty fairly easy end to the season schedule. They're not going to make a push for first, and they're not really in that race right now. They're kind of solidified that Champions League spot. So maybe Conte could use this opportunity to test out some formations and play around with some of those younger guys.
Hopefully. I mean, you never know, right? Como, Juve, and Roma. I wouldn't cut them out just yet. Napoli has to keep getting these results that they need to get. Like against those smaller teams, even if you struggle, you got to grind them out.
100%. But the way this, in a perfect world, yes. But the way the season's going, like we said, the seesaw, right? Look at the seesaw of those teams,
they
right?
Third, if they stay third, it's a successful season considering everything around them. And I would try to keep Conte if I'm De Laurentiis.
I think if they finish third, Conte's staying. And that's where I think, like you said, Remo, De Bruyne coming back in, Lukaku coming back in. If they manage to finish third, get back in Champions League, finish close enough to seem respectable, then they can use this last half of the season to almost be like a really extended preseason for De Bruyne, for Lukaku. See what they have in some of these young kids, because with De Bruyne and Lukaku back, are they going to hang on to, someone like, we saw Vergara have a hot moment. Is he maybe going to go out on loan? Take it as a long period to evaluate these players going into next year. Now, you can't take it too lightly because teams below are ambitious, but yeah, I think we linked Italiano to them. We link the Zerbi to them. I think if they finish third and they end the season with a string of positive results, we've said it more than one time. Conte has been very quiet in the media. De Laurentiis has been very quiet. Maybe they get along better than we thought. Sometimes they say opposites attract.
They're leaving the drama for Sari and Latito.
Yeah, maybe between them they every week they just go at it and they spar together. But in the press, anyways, they're staying out of each other's way. So yeah, I would be less and less surprised to see Conte stick around next year for Napoli, and that's probably a good thing. Probably.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see. And even Lukaku, I don't know if he stays or not.
I don't know. These guys, Lukaku, De Bruyne, I think they're just trying to get in shape for the World Cup now. I don't think Conte's going to risk them too much either. They definitely don't have more than like 30 minutes in their legs. But they definitely want to be there for the World Cup, so they're going to take it relatively serious. For them, it's like an extended preseason for the World Cup. But Lukaku, I mean, if he wants to stay, I would keep him around. He's great as an impact sub.
Yeah,
but he has to know his role. And I mean, if you sign Højlund for 45 million, Højlund's your starting striker.
Yeah,
there's no getting around that.
Højlund is just the new Lukaku. It's as simple as that. He's just as strong. He's showing signs. He's good hold-up play. That's what Conte likes. And Lukaku, I don't think he has the character to say, "Hey, I'm going to sit on the bench over here." You know what I mean?
I don't know. He's getting up there in age. You never know.
At his stage of his career, why not?
And he loves Conte.
Yeah, he loves Conte. They have that relationship from. I think he was with him also at Chelsea for a short time.
Yeah.
Inter. So I mean, for Conte, in with a fan base that loves him. I mean, he's what now? He's got to be on the wrong side of the hill. Why not stay somewhere where you're appreciated and you'll get your minutes? What a sub! What a super sub Lukaku can be as a presence in the 6-yard box when you need a goal.
And if you want to be a big team,
not in the Champions League final, but continue.
No, but I mean,
in the Europa League final, you might play well for the other team in front of your own net. No, but I'm saying if you want to be a serious team that's competing for the top positions every year, you need that second line, those subs that come in that have the pedigree.
Absolutely.
You need like when Milan had Giroud, like when Milan signs Ibrahimovic at 40 years old. It's not because they want to be a starter. He ended up being a starter for a lot of games, but it's because he's there in the locker room. He's there when you need a spark. You need players like that.
But he has to want to stay. That's my concern. Not about is he a good player to stay? Absolutely. Everybody would have Lukaku off the bench. If you get 10 solid minutes from Lukaku and his strength at the end of a game when you're looking for a goal, or even if you just want to hold the ball in possession and play calcio verticale. So, anyways, let's move on from Napoli. Juve win 4-0 versus Pisa. Very convincing win.
Still sixth place.
Still. I haven't moved there, but listen, I think more importantly, Juve play Udinese next up. Roma play Como. So it could be a big week for some seesawing, like I said, of what's going on, and Juve could leapfrog all of them, into that fourth place spot. But Juve, I watched a little bit of this game. The beginning, they didn't look too great. Jonathan David, they don't look great. As soon as he came off, they looked like a completely different team. Yeah.
Yildiz up the middle was a big difference.
Yeah, they played a false nine, I think, right?
Yeah.
So it just that spark that it gave them, and we'll see what happens. But Jonathan David not looking too good. Maybe
you had that moment. Yeah, you had that moment, but I mean, my God.
I think going forward for them, putting Yildiz down the middle with Boga and Conceição is probably the best bet. That's it. It was an easy win. Like you said, they didn't look great at the beginning when he came off. It seemed like they were still struggling to find that final ball. But at the end, it was once they got one, Pisa just crumbled. At the end, no answer for them. I watched the second half of this game, and it looked like fully, and Juve just dominated at the end. I want to give a huge props to Locatelli and Thuram because they've made a very good midfield duo for Juve. I think Spalletti's found his new Lobotka Anguissa. It's they've done really well, and honestly, I'm not a huge fan of him as a player, Locatelli, but I think he's making a solid argument to come back into the national team.
Well, this season, like compared to last season, was completely detrimental to his career. We thought his career was over at Juve. Like,
that's it. But he also looks like a leader. He has like it's a completely different mentality that he brings to the field now.
That's
He's horrible.
We're talking about David there.
I think he was talking about.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
And this is a buddy of ours who traded David away in our Fanta Calcio, I think. So he's enjoying looking like he got it right.
Listen,
and so far he did.
Pisa, honestly, we know they're going down, right? So again, we could sit here and talk about a 4-0 win versus Pisa, but we'll see next week versus Udine and see what happens there when Juve take on. Like I think it's going to be an interesting battle now.
Udine is no slouch either, though.
They're no slouch right now.
Yeah, they're 9th place, I think, right now.
Well, they tied Atalanta 2-2 this weekend.
Yeah, and they were leading for most of that game.
Yeah,
but they crumbled at the end, but whatever.
But yeah, so we could talk about those teams that maybe at the bottom. Fiorentina again, 0-0. Just every time you feel like they have a glimmer of hope, they're just taken away. I really hope, for the sake of Serie A, they don't get relegated. I think they're going to be saved by the sinking ship that is Cremonese. But we'll see what happens there. But we've talked a lot about Fiorentina over the last few weeks. We don't have to go too much into it. Lazio also get a 2-1 win, luckily at the end again today. My pick almost came in.
Mike, you need
97th minute.
Picks. Don't worry, we know you need to make your picks.
We were so close to going 3 for 3 again.
Crazy.
I was watching it, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe Mike's gonna nail this. Like, because the strategy in my mind was you had a solid lead, so you're going for the coup de grace, right? You call the tie on Monday afternoon. Wow, if he clinches this, like, who's gonna catch him? In the end,
I was feeling it again. Sassuolo were playing well. Lazio weren't playing too great. That balances out to me. I said, and honestly,
those Monday afternoon games, they're always.
It should have ended as a draw. Like, if you look at Lazio had more expected goals, but like the possession was 50-50. The shots, big chances, Lazio had more. But anyways,
it was a fun game though. In all honesty, they the first half they were just going at each other's throats. Sassuolo, very very fun team to watch. Lazio played very well that first half in front of 2,000 people.
That's a lot even for them.
I know. I don't know if you heard what Sadi said after the game. He came out. He said he basically said, "I stayed for the Lazio fans, but now I don't know why I stayed anymore."
Because they're gone.
Yeah, he's like, it's impossible to play with 2,000 people in the stands. It's ridiculous, and it's heartbreaking to see. I mean, yeah, but when you have a president that goes out and makes these statements countless times. Now, I don't know how much Italian media you guys follow, but there's the voices around Lazio sale have been growing louder and louder, and it seems like it might get closed in spring. Now, there's a chance it's a sale to an Arab oil tycoon, which would definitely tip the scales in Serie A right now, because that type of injection of money in Serie A, no other team, I mean, even Como can't. They're not going to compete with that. We'll see. It'd make it very interesting. I'm sure no Lazio fans going to disagree.
Plus, they're having a new stadium, right? Like, they're building
a new stadium. They're taking a Flaminio.
Well, yeah, I know. An old stadium turning into a new one.
It's like CSRDP. We're going to take where they play. And anyways, it's not even... Lotito is. I don't know if you guys saw if you follow the Italian media, or even it was going through on Instagram. The Lazio fans put a sign. They spray painted a sign saying, "Hey Trump, Lotito has nuclear weapons. Come get him." There's so like, it's such a toxic relationship at this point between him and the fans and the manager and the players and.
He has to sell. There's no other way around it, and the sooner the better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. No, we called it at the beginning, right? So
yeah.
That's, anyways,
we're Nostradamus over here.
Yeah, that mid-table battle is becoming really funny. Of all teams that just don't want to win, Bologna included.
Man.
Just a free fall of what they're doing, and they have Europa League this week as well. It's this week, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we got Europe this week. Big win
So-
for Lecce also. Just I know you usually don't talk about those teams down low. We touched on Fiorentina quickly. We touched on Cremonese a bit, but I mean Lecce pulling themselves 3 points clear of relegation at this point of
With
the
the
season.
help of the refs. That's a penalty. But yes, they I mean
Yeah.
they deserve it. I love Lecce. It's a beautiful city. If anyone ever has a chance to go, it's the Florence of the South. Beautiful city. And I mean, it's a historic team, beautiful stadium too. Like that stadium is just the atmosphere there is crazy.
They've been winning their games though. Like, okay, not
Yeah.
versus the top teams, but
No,
the
but
games
they're-
They won
supposed
2 out
to
of the
win.
last 5. Yeah.
Hey, Eusebio Di
3 out of the
Francesco
last
knows
5.
what he's doing. They have Corvino as a DS. These are guys that know what they're doing in Serie A, and they're able to find young players, young like unknown players, and kind of, like nurture them. Stulic is a striker that they got.
Stulic.
Yeah.
Took him a while, but he's finally making it click. Gandelman is that's a crazy find.
It's a fantastic purchase so far.
Yeah, even their defense, Thiago Gabriel, Siebert, they picked up some very good pieces. They have good pieces. The relegation team, right? The relegation battle team. It's between them and Cremonese. A lot of people are going to say Cremonese.
Even Verona won a game this week by
Crazy. I know, but I think Fiorentina should pull themselves out. I think it's really Torino's going to be one of those that are fighting by the end of the season.
1 point clear Fiorentina,
and then Lecce, Cremonese, Hellas, and Pisa.
Well, Fiorentina play Cremonese next. Like that's a
yeah, but which Fiorentina?
Put your money on Fiorentina.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
See, I never thought I'd be previewing a Fiorentina game as part of a relegation battle. Anyway.
Hey. Crazy.
Yeah, they did a Tottenham this year of basically even
crazy
Tottenham.
how those two teams is like that parallel. Like
it's insane. It's insane.
And they're also, you look at the fan base and the culture and like the history sort of like being that third or fourth sibling in the league. That's kind of always
like the cult team,
little brother.
Yeah.
And at the same time having this tough year. I was talking about it with a buddy over the weekend, and yeah, it's crazy how many similarities you could draw between the two teams this year.
I'm secretly hoping that Tottenham goes down because I wouldn't mind the fire sale and bringing Udogi and Vicario back to Serie A.
Back to Italy, yeah.
Well, I think they're still. Vicario, I think, is heavily.
Vicario is definitely gone. Yeah.
I think he's gone also.
Inter and Juve are good shots for him.
Even we didn't talk too much about Como, but we're seeing a lot of rumors now. Paz wants to stay in Italy. We'll see if he actually stays. If they allow him to stay, that's the biggest thing. But he really wants to stay in Italy. Maybe stay with Inter, come with us.
The dark side of Real Madrid is not looking too attractive anymore. And
right now,
as he's probably going to sit on the bench there. That's
the
if
thing.
I'm him, realistically, you stay where you're good.
At least prolong the loan, right? I mean, at this point, they have Brahim Diaz, who hasn't played a game in a year, I guess. At this point, I wouldn't see him getting to Madrid and just walking into the starting lineup. So stay an extra year. Why not? If you want to make a jump, make an intermediate jump, right? There's a nice spot right behind Milan at Roma with Dybala gone.
That's a good shot. He would fit in nicely there.
He would fit in perfectly with Gasperini.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that if Roma don't make Champions League, there's no Grano. So
Ray, did you want to like give us your prediction? I know you have to leave. Maybe you could.
I gotta go.
Give us your prediction, and maybe me and Joe could just finish. We could do some Champions League.
You don't want to make my pick, Mike?
Touching picks. I touch my own picks.
Dopo una riunione di circa 10 ore conclusasi questa mattina alle 5, la commissione disciplinare della Lega Calcio ha emesso la sentenza relativa al processo sulle scommesse.
It's like the news, like the breaking news on Rai when it happened. I just
but
snatched
but
that
was
off.
that Maji? No, it's on the
No,
list.
no, that's a
Okay,
reporter.
It's,
I'm not
the
even
news
kidding.
anchor.
Yeah, it's the news anchor. Let's
Okay,
hear it,
so
Ram.
on my end, there's a lot of juicy games next week. I'm gonna go with a. Fudge. I'm stuck here. I'm really stuck. Inter Atalanta, both teams to score.
Well, that's solid.
Very solid.
I don't know what the payout is on that because they're both high scoring teams.
That's probably gonna be around 160 if I had to guess. There, 170.
Not bad. What are the
175.
the standings right now after Mike's failure? Mike choking when he has to make his own pick.
We'll post it
I
after
put my
the
pick, my
after the
first
episode.
one.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes. I thought we were jumping online to like test this whole system, and it turns out we were recording. So I didn't do the actual math yet.
It's okay.
We'll leave that as
figure it out
as a spoiler.
As a little bonus,
Yeah,
I could go look at the odds right now because I'm very curious about that pick. I don't want to be a boring. I don't want to take a boring pick. In all honesty, there's a lot of Champions League this week in Italy.
So as of right now, I can give you an idea. So I hit, and so did Rem.
Both teams to score is 180. Not great, but we'll go with it. Slow and steady wins the race.
Indeed. So right now, the standings here, and I think this is a good moment to build some tension here with my stuttering. That's the wrong drum roll. Remo at 4.2, Mike at 3.9, and I'm at 3.29. So Remo just took the lead. I'm still in last.
What a weekend! What a weekend for
the
Milanisti.
The Milanista overtakes the Interista in Calcio Scommesse and gets the W in the Derby. Maybe we'll end with this, guys.
Godo.
We'll end with.
I don't know if you guys. You guys could preview the Champions League if you'd like.
I'm running low on power here, so
Okay.
What I'll do is I'm gonna go with. You know that it's been doing well for me so far, but you know what I'm thinking? Parma money line.
Oh,
Torino 3.75. I don't see Torino winning. I don't see Torino beating Parma. Just a feeling. Parma's been playing well. Torino, aside from a couple of games this year, we said it early in the show. Yeah, I mean they just lost to Napoli. Yeah, this game is where actually. The game is in. Torino.
It's in Torino. Yeah.
All right, I said it already.
It's locked in.
It's locked.
Okay, give me Sassuolo over Bologna.
Oh, I like that pick.
That's another frisky one.
I like to get frisky with my bets, or else it's not fun. That's the way.
Well, we also don't have a punishment yet. Maybe if we nail down a punishment, we'll be less frisky.
It is in the comments.
Yeah.
Do we still have one viewer?
I don't see how many viewers
on
we
our
have.
live.
We're still getting used to this. So I'll just take this down so that we don't miss it. Sassuolo is Mike's pick. Parma is Joe, and Remo went with
Inter Atalanta, both teams to score.
Inter BTS.
You guys
all right, guys,
to go crazy and just take Atalanta? No, it's too crazy.
Obviously.
All right, guys. So we'll get that all prepared and we'll post it for you guys. I hope for whoever did tune in that you enjoyed the ride. Let us know what you thought of the new format, and we'll see you guys next week.
Chi non salta nera azzurro,
You get it for 1 week. I give it to you.